Yeah. Well, also, if since we're on it, on Twitter, I have a tweet that seems to be getting a lot of traction, but it's maybe you have a view on it, but it was how much do you think your environment influences your income?
I saw that. I did not, and I didn't read the comments, so I'm not sure what everyone has been saying yet.
Oh wow, I'm at 5,600 views on it right now.
All right. Way to go.
Yep,
How much does your environment influence your, say it again,
your income.
your income? Hmm.
Yeah, so far it seems like, a lot of people think it definitely affects them, but the same thing, mindset really is the
That's what I was
big.
gonna say. Is like it still
Yeah.
comes down to that mindset. Like, is your environment fueling your desire to earn income, or is it causing you to be complacent? Or like, I can see how your environment is influencing your mindset, um,
So that would be
which
my
then
my next
influences
question
your
though.
income.
My next thing was because a lot of people were so do you think it's harder in a like starting from a horrible environment, I guess a bad environment, or a complacent or comfort environment? Like which one you think might hinder you more?
Hmm. Okay, so obviously lots of caveats and exceptions here, but I'm going to say it will hinder you more to start in a horrible environment or now I do think there are more like rags to riches stories, like people who are going from, really, really terrible situations to like more margin, like extreme wealth, who are able to do that and leverage that situation that they were in to really motivate them. But I think that if you are talking about not just wealth, but just like stable income and being and living in a way that you aren't um, paycheck to paycheck or stressing over being able to meet your needs. I still think that it's harder for more people coming from a hard situation or a bad situation to break out of either that poverty level or that lower middle class and get to a point where they're maybe upper middle class than it would be for someone who's already upper middle class to just stay there and be stable for their whole life. They may not be as many going from that to wealthy as there are like these rags to riches stories, but I think as far as just stability goes, like I think you're still better off if you're starting out with kind of that complacent, like you don't really have to work too hard, but you're set up well and you have the skills that you need and opportunities to at least stay stable.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you think?
Kind of the same. I mean, I definitely think, like you're saying, there's less maybe motivation for people that are complacent or in a have a certain comfort level. So like you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, you probably don't see as many of those rags to riches stories because I mean, for some people, they're like you're saying, they're comfortable and they're fine, and they're not, they don't really maybe need to do anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes the rag to riches stories, it's very inspiring and motivation on these people. Like Hugo, like he said, he didn't have anyone to look up to or kind of guide him, and but he figured it out. And
Mm-hmm.
as we touched on earlier too, about how you're saying, not having a child until you're ready to provide them with something better, and that's exactly what he always talks about is building
Yeah.
the nest first. And that I guess you definitely see that a lot. There's a lot more hunger, I think, starting from a place like that. But definitely, you are starting, further behind, and you probably it is a struggle, but there is people that are super motivated, and but yeah, so I think you see less from the comfort complacent level
Mm-hmm.
going to the
Like
next
really work
level.
hard to get
Yeah,
out of, yeah.
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 So maybe in a sense it's actually harder to get out of that, right? you
Mm-hmm.
know
If you want to just talk about like, are they able to like level up? I would think it's harder for people in the middle to really want to level up. Like I don't know where the motivation would come from unless they're just wired that way, where they're particularly driven. Um, but you know when and but that's it's crazy because you know if you want to attribute starting off with a rough environment to your success, it's it's interesting because you wouldn't turn around and say like, well, I want my kid to have a rough environment too. And like I know, and so to some level, you know, we've talked about this before, like you just want to move the ball down the field. Like you don't necessarily feel like you need to get to the goal, but as far as like generational wealth goes, if you can help your, you know, your family and friends like move the ball down the field and do a little bit better, then that feels like success too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I don't know if you saw my Instagram reel I posted about that person talking about how like the Hawaii, the next generation is not going to be able to take care of the generation before them because a lot of them are having to move away because it's so expensive to live here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the time comes when, their parents get older and it's like now you have to make a decision. Are you going to just pack up and move back to take care of your parents, or do you just, you know, kind of come back when the time comes and make your peace? And so it's that decision, and that's kind of a lot where my message is now, and what I've, you know, see as part of the problem is people are having to make that tough decision on, are they going to stay here and struggle, or are they going to move
Right.
away and have a better life? But then now that time's going to come when, their parents are older, and now what are they going to do? Are just going to pack up and move their whole life that they have somewhere else? And
Yeah.
yeah, so this is a tough decision.
Yeah. And it feels like the longer you wait to make that decision, the harder it is to either get ahead or fix your situation where you have more freedom to choose. And I feel like that's, you know, we both do a lot of that where you just want to like motivate someone to get started right now. And if they start right now, then they'll be very glad that they did. And
Yeah.
it's it's hard right now to start. And that's why I'm trying to post a lot of content around, you know, just side hustles and not even that, but just creative ways to think about, you know, getting that extra $100 or starting something that 2 years from now might be successful, or you know just kind of um, low cost ways to earn a little extra and not just to you know not just to use that to have free spending money, but to actually use that in a way that you're investing so that 5 or 10 years from now you have set yourself up to not be falling behind, because it really is, I mean, just moving your money to a brokerage account or a high yield savings account, like even just doing that one thing is helpful. So there's a lot of that you
Mm-hmm.
know I wouldn't put my $1,000 emergency fund in the under the bed anymore. Like I would put it somewhere that's going to, you know, hedge against inflation a little bit. So uh I mean, there's just a bunch of little things that when you add them up together, you actually end up with a chunk that you can invest or do something with that will help you get ahead.
Yeah. I don't know if you probably didn't watch it, but I was talking to Joel about this the other week. It's kind of a touchy subject. I mean, so I have this coworker. He could
Mm-hmm.
retire already, and he's just, I don't know what he's doing. But anyways, I told him, don't retire because you're like half my material for my YouTube channel. But so he took out a HELOC on his property, and he was thinking about investing in out of state rental properties,
Mm-hmm.
and for whatever reason, maybe he got cold feet, or he wasn't comfortable investing from a distance, and so he has this HELOC just sitting there. Um, and like I talked about before, Hawaii has very favorable HELOC products. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
the rates are higher now, but at the time when he took it out, he probably has, I would say 300,000 available, at like a 2.5 interest rate, probably.
Well, does he want to loan it out to me?
So well, that's what I'm trying to convince him to do for
Right.
people. But so
Yeah.
he hasn't touched it, he hasn't used it, and I just told him, man, just if you don't want it, just put it in a high yield savings account right now. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
take
Just
it
move
all.
it.
Yeah. And you'll earn something. You'll pay for probably half your Tesla payment a month,
Mm-hmm.
and it's risk free. But yeah, I don't know. He So yeah, that's why I told him you're my material for half my stuff. So don't retire because I won't have
Yeah.
anything else to. But
Yeah. To make an example out of. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
because shoot, 300,000, is that what you said?
around yeah, I don't know if it's exactly. It might be 275, but it's in that ballpark area. And um, yeah, yeah. I mean, he'd make
$1,250 a month if he would just move it over.
yeah. No,
Yeah. If
not
you got
12.
into a high yield savings account at 5%,
Oh, maybe. But then, yeah, and then he paid. Yeah,
300,000 times 5% divided by 12,
yeah,
right?
and then he'd
1250
have
a month.
yeah, and then he'd pay whatever, probably half that interest. So then,
Right.
yeah. So like I said, yeah, you'd get free money, pay for half your, probably pay your part, your Tesla payment, and yeah. But I don't know. He says he has to talk to the wife about it.
All
So
right. Well,
yeah, you know
I
how
don't know if
that
that's an
goes.
excuse or a legitimate.
No, no, that's his reason. Like he he doesn't make very many decisions, and he relies on her to make the decisions, and so. But
Well,
I know he didn't even run it past her because I saw him the next time, and I'm like, "So what?" And he's like, "Oh, actually, you didn't even bring it up, right?" And
oh
yeah,
no. Yeah, that's don't just let your money sit there like that and earn
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. Well, like I told Joe though, he also I said I don't want to get all into politics, and I should. Maybe my channel will grow more faster. But
Yeah, no,
he,
for hot take right here.
yeah, no, but he thinks that we are better off today than we were 4 years ago, and
Well,
it's
that's interesting.
yeah, yeah, and I think there's a lot of people out there like that just really aren't aware what's going on. And I think like same thing. I think maybe the wife pays all the bills, like she handles all of that, so he doesn't really see it too, right? So he doesn't
Hmm.
think, oh yeah, like how bad things are for an everyday person and how expensive things are.
Yeah. Well, it's
And
hard. It's easy, or yeah, it's easy to get detached from the struggles of the majority of people. I think once you have a level of comfort, it's very easy to be like, I'm good. I'm taken care of.
yeah,
I don't really have to concern myself with anyone else.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so he so he thinks we're better off today than 4 years ago. And he's yeah, definitely orange man bad. And so no matter what, yeah,
Hmm.
that's so yeah. Every day I go to work and I try to poke at him to get more material and kind of rile them up.
I don't think, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter which president it is. I think all
Yeah.
the presidents own real estate and invest their money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's
they
true.
know how to work the system or at least play within it. So
Yeah.
might as well do it yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, this was fun. I wish I figured out that live sooner or how we can do it, but we can goof around with it next time.
Yeah.
And if you see any random lives from me, people out there during the week, don't just scroll past it or let me know that it was out there so I know I got
That it's
something figured
working.
out. Yeah.